It wasn't supposed to happen like this. I wasn't expecting to feel anything for him. It wasn't something I planned or even wanted, but somehow, in the moments between our words, in the quiet spaces when we were just two people existing in the same room, I started to feel something I couldn't quite name. It wasn't a sudden rush, more like the tide slowly creeping in until I couldn't deny it anymore. When I moved into the new house after my mom remarried, nothing felt familiar. The walls, the rooms, the faces, I was still trying to find my place. My stepbrother, Noah, was different. Quiet, distant. Not unfriendly, but reserved. We passed each other in the hallways, exchanged the smallest of smiles, but that was about it. He never made a scene, never called attention to himself. He just existed in the background. I noticed that. And after a while, I realized he noticed me too. The first real conversation we had was over something silly. I'd left my favorite sweater in the living room, and when I went in to get it, Noah was sitting on the couch, watching TV. I stood in the doorway, unsure whether to interrupt him, but he glanced up. "Looking for something?" he asked, his voice low but warm. "My sweater," I replied, a little sheepish. He gestured to the armrest. "It's right there." I grabbed it, ready to leave, but then he said, "You can stay, if you want. Movie's decent." I hesitated for a moment before sitting down at the far end of the couch. We didn't talk much. The movie played in the background, but somehow, the silence wasn't awkward. It felt comfortable. After that, small moments like that turned into longer conversations. Nothing deep, just easy. Before I knew it, I started thinking about him more than I should have. Noticing things, how he always seemed to tidy up after everyone, how he smiled a little bit more when I was around. One night, I couldn't sleep, so I went downstairs for water. When I walked into the kitchen, I found Noah sitting there at the counter, staring out the window. He didn't notice me at first. "Can't sleep either?" I asked, breaking the quiet. He turned, surprised, but smiled. "Yeah. Guess it's just one of those nights." I poured myself a glass of water and sat across from him. We didn't say much, just shared the silence. But there was something in the way he looked at me that made my heart race, an unspoken connection. After a while, he glanced at me, our eyes locking for just a beat too long, and my stomach twisted with something I couldn't explain. From then on, everything felt different between us. We didn't talk about it, but the air between us changed. I started to look forward to seeing him each morning, even if it was just a hey as we passed each other. Sometimes, I'd be reading, and he'd sit down next to me, not saying anything, just being there. Other times, he'd help with dishes or just quietly move around the house like we were in sync without speaking. One afternoon, I stepped outside,